Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I am doing some of the hunt and I'm in a retribution here. It's not fitted fantastically. You can see I've got Scorch loaded and I don't have any conflag. Unfortunately there was none on the market and I'm in 0-0. So I've had to make do with what I've got, but the sites themselves aren't particularly hard, and the the Retribution is a really good ship, and it's ideal for this. It's got good tracking, it does good DPS, it's got a good tank, and, you know, these sites are pretty straightforward. I don't think I ever get below half armor, and I'm in generally no situation of ever dying in this fit. Now, I'm not here to talk about the fit in general. The general gist of this video is that the hunt, I like the idea of the hunt. Obviously you have to take time, you scan down the capsules, which takes a bit of time, a bit of skill, and gets you a little bit of scanning expertise or knowledge, which is always good because, as I said before, scanning is a really hard thing to pick up, but it's really useful and will serve you very well for future endeavours within EVE, whether that be PvP or just scouting or just staying away from trouble. Once you've obviously got your key, you have to find a site. Now, obviously in high sec, these sites are highly contested. In low sec, they're obviously not as well or as much contested, and in 0-0, I found them pretty hard to find. Now, there could be a lot of people doing these sites, so obviously finding them is a bit tricky, but my point is they're not exactly easy to find or to actually get done. So when you do find one, obviously you have to crank it out as quickly as possible before someone comes and steals it, or, as my case in 0-0, if someone pops in that is neutral, and because obviously with these rats scrumming, it can be a bit of an issue. So yeah, there's a bit of risk involved when doing these events, or frustration, because obviously the time taken to find the key and then find a site and then do it and then grab the loot is obviously time consuming. And you know, this is not everything has to be all about ISK. You know, enjoyment is one of it, and again, I do enjoy scanning down the capsules. I'm not particularly good at scanning myself, so, you know, a bit of extra practice never hurts. The sites themselves are a bit lackluster, but I am doing it in, you know, a ship that is fully capable, and if I did want any more of a challenge, I could downship to something a bit less tanky or decent, I suppose. But all in all, I found the rewards to be very lackluster. And for the amount of hassle that you have to go through for these, and, you know, some people are going to turn around and say, oh, well, you've just had bad luck. Now, I've done 7 or 8 of these sites. So, you know, I've not done huge amounts, but I've done a decent amount. And we'll see in this, the rewards that I have received have been horrific. And for the amount of hassle and time it takes to do these, it's just not worth it. Now, I know some people have obviously come out with, you know, the 1.5 billion ISK implant, etc., and, you know, the Gecko BPCs, which are all great and nice. Some of the skins are worth, or at the moment are kind of worth a decent amount, but obviously they're going down with more people doing the sites. But you get the Overseer's effects, which are meant to give you kind of like a baseline of ISK, so, you know, it doesn't fluctuate, and that you get a constant level. Now, obviously these vary from high to low and everything in between, but it's still very lackluster, and I don't know if anybody else has been experiencing this, but again, I could have made more mining, and that is just disappointing. So I kind of stayed away from the Gala one, so I don't know how the rewards were in that, but obviously I did the Winter Nexus, and I know CCP said they were going to, you know, kick out good rewards for that, and the rewards for that were really good. So I say on average I was earning 300-400 million an hour. Now, obviously, you know, fine, that was the exception to the rule and not the norm, I understand that, but when some of the rewards that you're getting for this are so low, and, you know, yes, it is based on some luck, but, you know, on average, I think I've managed to bring in 6.5 million ISK, and that is terrible for the amount of hassle and stuff that you have to go through to actually get here. You know, so scanning and basically, you know, finding a site it's just not worth the time and the hassle. And I'd like to hear everybody else's, whether you've been in high sec, low sec, and null sec, and how your how you found it, how you found the rewards. Because, I've come across some people that are saying, yeah, it's decent. You're making 20 million a site in high sec, and I've got others that basically have said, it's just not. I've given up. I'd sell my keys because it's just not worth it. And the keys are selling for about 5, 6, 7 million ISK a pop, but as you'll see in a moment, the amount of ISK that I'm actually making is lower than that. So I'm not even breaking even. And I find that a little bit frustrating and annoying because, I could be doing so many other things that not only are more interesting, because other than the scanning, the actual Dead Space part isn't particularly hard, so I barely move in the Retribution here. I'm pretty much sat still and able to tank and destroy them with no problem. And so say I've not even got the optimal ammo type for this. Personally, I'd want conflag because a lot of them come quite close, but Scorch manages, even though it's not optimal for it. And again, it barely breaks a sweat. So we can see here the gate has now opened. I've done the 5 waves. The waves here were quite interesting. There were quite a lot of them. And we're on to the final showdown with the boss. So again, barely break a sweat with this. Kind of sit still, let him come to me, and just take down his shields. Now, obviously, in high sec, you don't have to worry quite as much about being webbed and scrammed as you do in 0-0. So, potentially in low sec or 0-0, you're actually taking quite a risk going into these sites for the fact that obviously, you are stuck in place with some of them for a decent amount of time, and especially when there's the 5 or 6 on grid at once with you. So we've taken him down. I collect me reward here, and let's go and open and see what we come out with. 2.4 million ISK. 2.4 million ISK for all that. Thank you very much. Okay, it may just be bad luck. Okay, fine, let's have another look at another one. Oh, 5.5 million ISK. Thank you very much. So with this one I get quite excited because there's an implant, but that's only worth 7.1, so kind of a bit of check, but we get 11.9 million ISK with this drop, which is, yeah, that's reasonable. I can live with that. Just. So before I started recording, I had done 5 or 6, and the reason I started recording was because, well, the rewards were that bad. 1.5 million ISK, thank you very much. CCP, please troll me more. I was starting to wonder, is this normal? Am I just had a run of awful luck, or is this generally, how much you're expecting to be earning doing these sites? Because 1.5 million ISK, it's barely worth undocking for. And, I might sound greedy here, but, pretty much anything I could literally have just flown to an NPC belt and made more than that, just by ratting in a belt. So the amount of effort that's required in order to be able to do these sites, or the hassle of scanning down and then finding a site that isn't contested, it just seems incredibly poor. And I know you've got the overseer's effects to try and give you a certain amount of ISK, but I'm getting 6 tier and 8 tier here. So I'm interested in how everybody else is finding the hunt in regards to ISK making. And that's because the experience I've had has been incredibly poor. So yeah, let me know how or what you think to the hunt so far. Be interested to know. And with that, I'll talk to you later.